Modern boxing is plagued by the scourge of the undefeated fighter. The sport is positively riddled with undefeated records, and yet amongst those long lists of wins you will generally find very few reputable names. For boxing fans who generally just want to see good fights between good fighters, it is a source of endless frustration. And yet, Andre Ward flies in the face of that convention. Yes, he has an O under his L column, but over the last decade he has fought almost exclusively good competition, most of them facing him off of a win, and most of them with over 30 professional fights themselves. This pattern stretches all the way back to Ward's close scrape with top-notch journeyman Darnell Boone and continues to this day. Yes, Ward has faced a few lesser opponents lately, but only in the lead-up to what may very well be the toughest test of his career. And all of that experience will come in very handy against another undefeated fighter with an 84% knockout rate, a record to be feared. So, let's talk about Andre Ward's path to victory. This is Game Planning for Greatness: How Andre Ward Beats Sergey Kovalev. To kick things off, let's go the ESPN route and list Ward's 3 keys to victory, and then we'll look at some specific examples for each. First, Ward needs to interrupt Kovalev with an active lead hand. Off of the threat created by that lead hand, he needs to move laterally. Finally, Ward needs to get low and stay low as often as possible. So, starting with number 1, the interruptive lead. Sergey Kovalev is a momentum fighter. He likes to charge forward with quick flurries of powerful punches, which is why you'll often see him resetting when his opponent's back nears the ropes rather than trying to keep them there. He would rather move forward and punch than deal with an opponent whose back is against the wall. So when his opponents follow him back to center ring, Kovalev starts the process over again. Heavy blows with both hands, usually while pressing forward. Nothing stops that tactic like an educated lead hand. Kovalev struggled mightily with the jab of Isaac Chilemba, and take note of how Chilemba used it. He frequently doubled the jab, taking advantage of Kovalev's single-layered defense. He feinted it to make Kovalev jump and threw it hard to the body, targeting center mass for more stopping power against a wider target. And he countered with it, turning Kovalev's rushing attacks against him. Interrupting a fighter like Kovalev with the jab means refusing him the opportunity to set his feet and charge, forcing him to box instead. Kovalev can box, of course, but he wants to knock Ward out. To stop him, Andre will need to use his left like this, stabbing as his opponent comes forward, not focused on damage so much as interruption and irritation. Ward likes to keep his left hand busy, constantly pawing to draw the opponent's eyes, which not only reminds them of the jab that they could run into at any moment, but serves as a distraction to set up plunging body shots like this. Which brings us to key number 2. Once Ward has interrupted Kovalev's attack and stopped him in his tracks, he needs to use those tiny moments of hesitation to initiate some movement of his own. Specifically, lateral movement, side to side, because Sergey Kovalev sure does like to chase his opponents down. See what happened when Isaac Chilemba made the mistake of retreating on a straight line. Note how Kovalev actually shifts as he punches, stepping into a sort of ugly southpaw stance in order to cover distance while transferring weight onto his left punch. He then repeats the process with the right, and simply covering up and hoping the Russian goes away is no good. Kovalev's shot selection is smartest when he feels completely in control. Show him fear, and his confidence will soar. When Chilemba was fighting smart, he used his jab to steal back space from the pressuring Kovalev, again frequently targeting the relatively wide-open body for maximum effect. In open space, each jab became a small opening for Chilemba to move. This frustrated Kovalev, Hoping to set his feet and throw, he would feel the sudden sting of a sharp lead, and when he finished blinking, Chilemba was suddenly over there. It forced him to constantly readjust, and for a puncher, that can get pretty frustrating. Being a part of the classic boxing arsenal, this is a tactic with which the old-school Andre Ward is very familiar. Ward even has an advantage over Chilemba's method in that he is very comfortable letting his outstretched hands linger on the target. Head control is a big part of Ward's boxing game in middle distance, and he will use these sticky punches to stabilize his opponent while he moves into position for a clean power shot, or to nullify a wild opponent who loses his footing while swinging with both hands. Or sometimes just to make the other guy look stupid. And so we come to key number 3, the most crucial and yet perhaps the least intuitive part of Ward's path to victory: getting low and getting inside. Sergey Kovalev is the naturally bigger man in this matchup, so logic would dictate that to dance too close to him would be a death sentence. But the thing is, Sergey Kovalev really isn't much of an infighter. He likes to fight long, keeping his opponent on the end of his straight shots. And as we saw before, when they retreat, he shifts forward to keep them in that perfect range. When that aggression results in a clinch, however, well, look at what Kovalev does. He tends to simply wrap an arm around his opponent's head and hammer away with his free hand. For a strong fighter, it's an okay tactic. For a man whose opponents are understandably shy about standing too close to him, it actually makes a lot of sense. But this range right here is Andre Ward's specialty, mostly because Ward knows how to fight hands and change levels. In the pocket, the lower fighter has a huge leverage advantage. Imagine yourself pushing a heavy object. Are you going to stand up tall and just lean against the thing, or try to get underneath it and drive yourself up against it? What about the opposite direction? Imagine yourself playing tug of war. Are you going to keep your legs straight and simply fall back with that rope in your hands, or bend your knees and dig in? Lower means stronger, to a point, and Andre Ward knows it. Look how he adjusts his level here when he needs to bully Carl Froch a little bit. He bends his knees and, like a wrestler, nestles his head in under Froch's jaw as he shoves him back. Yes, there was a time when boxers kept wrestlers in their training camps precisely to train positions like this. The same stability that makes the low fighter strong also makes him harder to hurt, and that's Kovalev's problem on the inside. He doesn't get low. He'll lean on you, but he won't change levels and really wrestle. And if his opponent is a better infighter who can use that leverage to hit Kovalev while he's standing up tall, well, he's not only an easier target, but a more vulnerable one as well. Even in a completely one-sided fight with Jean Pascal, Kovalev nearly got himself into trouble simply by standing up tall in the middle of a phone booth exchange. Andre Ward doesn't do that. He is painfully, professionally aware of his position at all times, and one of his favorite tactics is to slip his way into the pocket, simultaneously sliding inside his opponent's reach and loading his hips to pop up with a nasty hook. Look at this one. Ward slips Sullivan Barrera's jab, then sort of rides it into the pocket before uncorking a nasty shot to the body, shielding his own body from 2 counters and then smacking Barrera on the kisser for his impudence. Now, all of these tactics have been physical because, well, it's hard to demonstrate invisible concepts in a video. The real key to beating Sergey Kovalev, however, is mental. The Crusher has a granite chin, and he is damn near unscarable. Hurting him or making him worry about his body in any way is not likely to work, but Kovalev is kind of a bully, and the way to beat a bully is to frustrate him, make him feel weak, and bully him right back. Our earthly tactics play right into that metaphysical goal. By sticking Kovalev on the end of his jab, Ward can frustrate him. By moving off of those jabs and feinting, Ward can prevent Kovalev from getting off with his power shots, making him feel rather ineffectual. And by getting inside and working Kovalev over in the clinch, Andre Ward can bully the bully. It's easier said than done, but if anyone can do it, it's Andre Ward. I hope you all enjoyed that video, and thank you very much for watching. I'm Connor Ruebusch, and if you want to find any other work of mine or any number of other pieces related to MMA, boxing, or just combat sports in general, you can find stuff like that over on bloodyelbow.com and badlefthook.com.